Bones Detective Agency, hurtling fleshwards towards the beating, molten heart that is the screwball center of the earth. I, the surreal Smithy Supreme, the glassblower of gross guff, the owner of a temporarily online-only boutique of spooktiques, will present to you 4 handcrafted, free-range curiosities which otherwise might take 3 to 5 days via courier. Ha ha! It is complete!
Ida, if you don't want to do this, it's okay.
I trust you. Remember what Nimue showed you. Twist your whole body into the blow.
Forgive me. Swiftly, the blessed water from the well. Please come back to me.
The head is reconnecting. Oh, that is gross.
He is breathing. More water.
I think that's enough.
Father!
That were not pleasant in the least. Was it successful?
The sun is dipping behind the hills. We'll know in a moment.
Just in case you should back away, Ida.
Have you aged out of the only thing you can relate to? Ha ha ha! Of course you haven't. You're just bigger now. You're bigger, and that makes you more important. Cut in front of those stinky loser kids and any priority guests with the all-new Disneyland Grown-Ass Man Pass, because you've only got so much longer to live. Did you know the average guest at our park spends 12 hours waiting in line? You could actually die before you get on Splash Mountain. Do you want that to...
He's showing her that she's underestimated him. He has hidden depths, a keen mind, undiscovered qualities. You're overcompensating, Romeo.
It had something to do with those noises in her head, those 3 straight lines. She could feel one of them bending just slightly as the man changed something tangible about the world. With his hand still flat against the immalleable steel, the man let loose a primal scream. The metal cracked, the foundation shook, and by his will, the barrier began to break apart from the middle. Doing so expended a sheer amount of physical energy, so much so, he turned the air hot. In that moment, this other presence she'd felt, the one he'd named Harem, ate up his entire being and allowed him to reorganize the very atoms in his reach. And when he was finished, the bending line unkinked and flattened back out.
Doctor, the live stream is up and running.
The patient is prepared and they're ready to begin the surgery. Do you concur?
Excuse me?
Do you concur?
I do?
I believe the doctor is referencing Steven Spielberg's 2002 biopic, Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
That kid deserves an Oscar. Man.
He has been doing it all day. I believe that Walter first set him off.
Do yourself a favor and remember that they are people, Ace. They are all people. God, she said, and dropped her weapon in anguish. What are we doing here, Ace? It was all the chance the Gatherer needed. Leica's open-ended thought had hardly made it to her ears before Ace swept her feet and took her to the ground. With a second strike, Ace knocked her clean out for the count, and might have taken 2 of her teeth as she went. As Ace let loose this primal scream and beat her chest in victory, rebellion overruled the reject one final time. Fury had taken charge. Absolute, incredible, seething rage which beat about her body like it was bursting blood vessels, burst through her skin in the form of steam. She grit her remaining teeth so hard they shattered and cut her gums. Still, with an open mouth full of aged tombstones, Noelle took to Ace with the same technique she had applied earlier. Only this time, she had chosen to silence all but the noises needed. No more Byleth. The ambience was gone. It was just Shax, just herself, and just that third line. On impact, Noelle sunk what was left of her incisors deep into her enemy. Just barely, she pierced the leather armor and drew blood. She did not feel the cactus prick point of her defensive body hair. It really did not matter much. It could only hurt for so long now.
I turned Dr. Marsh over to West's security people who took her away. Eddie, Mr. West, and I went around to each of the cages and restored the animals to visibility. Before too long, they were all present, accounted for, and hungry. A few days later, in time for school vacation week,
Flash. The appearing man stood before her, wailing. Through his tears, as though he was being drowned by them, the appearing man uttered a single, garbled sorry and became destruction personified. Flash. Around the world, the appearing men became solid, tangible. In their wake they left rubble. A targeted attack, with no culpable entity to blame. It would take decades for the world to heal, and even longer to know why this had happened in the first place, for there was no one left to ask. The manager on duty leaves, says, "The door's locked, just make sure it's shut properly, and turn off all the lights, since you're the last one to leave." You drop to your knees and claw at the shelves, hunt behind the glass washer, peel back the back bar, and find the queen. You do not show up to work the next day. Nobody worries. You get one call. Your boss crushes an ant. You do not go into work for another, and another, and another day on day on day. Your boss notices there are no more ants. You get a text message. It goes unread. You see ants. All you see is ants, and then nothing. A month goes by. Work never chooses to investigate. It's only when the ceiling falls through on a neighbor downstairs, and their apartment is swarmed with ants and their filth, that somebody knocks on your door. You take no notice, or you don't notice. Either or is true. For what they find is dirt and moss and gunk and goo, and you wrapped up in it, body and soul. A